Yeah, good morning, everybody. Uh, until last class, we have seen how to manufacture a pulp. Okay, then from the pulp, we have to manufacture the end product called a paper. So now starts the paper mill. Okay, once again, we are revising the paper mill. Then what is a paper? Paper is nothing but a matted or felted sheet of fibers, usually cellulose and generally formed on a fine wire screen from a water suspension. So from this definition, we can observe what is the process is going to happen. Nothing but converting that pulp into a matted or felted sheet of fiber. Okay, fiber is nothing but this cellulose content, which is called as a pulp. Then that pulp has to be arranged in a matted structure. So one mat like structure we have to arrange this one. So how to arrange that one? Using some fine wire screen or from a water suspension. These fibers are dissolved in some water, then it is arranged in a matted structure, and using that fine wire screen, okay, passing through the rolls, that paper will be dried and water will be squeezed off from that one. So by this definition, we can say the process which is going to happen is just first the preparation of fiber suspension in water, then after that arranging of that fiber suspension as a matted structure. Then this matted structure has to be removed or squeezed out of water using pressure rolls or a felt rolls or using a heated or a dry rolls. Okay, drying rolls or a heated rolls. Then after separating that water content from it, the finally obtained sheet is called as a paper. Then once again we can define it other way also. Paper is a thin material produced by pressing together moist fibers, cellulose pulp derived from wood, rags or grasses and drying them in a flexible sheet. So this is also a same definition. So there's something little different definition they have given. So moist fibers will be formed and it will be arranged. These fibers are just extracted from the woods, rags, grasses, and then drying that fibers into a flexible sheet is called as a paper. Then what are the raw materials required for this paper manufacturing? So first raw material is obviously pulp is required. So pulp is required, that will be coming under the category of fibrous category because pulp is entirely a cellulose material. Cellulose material is entirely a fiber material. So fibrous material it will come. So how do we obtain this pulp? We obtain this pulp in the section 1 from the ground wood or paper recycled product or a specialty pulp like asbestos and glass, whatever the fiber is there, fiber content is there from the natural materials. We have obtained that fiber material or a cellulose material from that um, from that natural material. So that is called as a fiber content or a cellulose content, or we can call directly as a pulp. Then pulp is the major raw material for the paper industry. Then non-fibrous materials, like we will add certain fillers to get a glossy finish, to incorporate a greasy look for the paper, to increase the luster or the softness of the paper, to incorporate some acid resistant paper, some oxidizing antioxidant coating will be applied on the paper so as to remain it could remain undamaged from the environment. We will just add some of the materials like fillers or some additives we will add. So all that additives, fillers, everything will comes under the non-fibrous categories because they are not fibers. So inorganic, among them there are two categories in the non-fibers. One is organic and then one is next second one is inorganic. Then inorganic chemicals like clay, talc, titanium dioxide, zinc sulfide, calcium carbonate, calcium sulfate, barium sulfate, alum, all these are comes under the inorganic category. They act as a fillers or additives to increase the smoothness, luster, or the printing quality, everything, or the acid resistant paper, everything. We will use this type of stuffs. Then organic, same to increase the luster or the glossy finish or to remain the acidic resistant paper. So we will add some organic chemicals. So that organic chemicals are rosin, glue, casein, waxes, glycerol, dyestuffs. All these chemicals will form a raw material for the paper manufacturing. So the first one, pulp one. So pulp is the major raw material for the paper industry. Together with this pulp, there are other non-fibrous materials are also required. Then what is the method in formation of that paper? So as per the definition of the paper, we have seen the formation of a fiber suspension. First, fiber suspension has to be formed. How this fiber suspension will be formed? So if you see, this is a pulp. Okay, pulp will be there. We just obtained a pulp from the pulp mill. Then this pulp needs to be mixed as a slurry with water. then that complete pulp will be just incorporated into water by just using this beating or refining. One beater will be there. So a cylindrical beater will be there, a round circular beater, onto which knives are attached. Metal knives are attached. These knives are responsible to just disintegrate that fiber content and mix with the water, so that a slurry of water, 99 percentage water, above 90 percentage water, and nearly 10 percentage pulp, depending on what type of quality we require that one. So a slurry will be prepared. So this is called a beating or refining process. So in the paper manufacturing, there are only two processes. One is the this one, preparation of a fiber suspension. So this one, beating or refining, is called as a preparation of fiber suspension. So this is a one operation. Next one is formation of the paper. So formation of the paper is the next step. So this one is the formation of a preparation of a fiber suspension. So preparation of a fiber suspension is also called as a beating or refining section. So in the beating or refining section, the pulp is slurried with water. Okay, greater than 90% of water will be added to the pulp, and it will be just mixed as a slurry using the beater. Beater is nothing but a circular cylindrical drum, to which metal knives are attached. These knives are responsible to integrate that fiber content into the water. Then after forming a fiber content, this slurry, entire water and fiber slurry, is just passed through some centrifuge to this one, some storage tank. After the storage tank, depending on the availability, it will be just sent to the formation of a paper section. This entire 1, 2, 3, 4, this entire 5 sections is called as a paper preparation section. This paper preparation section up to here is a refining section or a beating section, or we can call fiber preparation, preparation of a fiber suspension, up to here, up to this pressure roll. And after this, this slurry will be passed through these rolls. Okay, a series of rolls will be there. First is a pressing roll will be there, suction roll will be there, some felt rolls will be there. So through this one, a matted structure. So when these are passing like this, the paper is passing, the pulp content or a slurry is passing like this. So water will be just drained due to the gravity, as well as pressure we are applying from the top. So that pressure will just squeeze out the water by somewhat using the gravity. Some water will be just coming out. So using the suction rolls also, some of the water will be just coming out like this. So this water, which is obtained after preparing a matted structure of this fiber, is called as white water. So this white water will be once again recycled back to the this one, refining section or a beating section. So until here, the water content will be 90% or greater than 90%. So very dilute amount of pulp will be present. Large amount of water amount will be present up to here. And after that, after passing through this pressure rolls and suction rolls, after forming a mat, so until here, the water content will be 80 to 82 percentage water content will be there. So this is called as a formation of a wet web section. So in terms the formation of a paper, there are three major steps. One is a formation of a wet web, then pressing the wet sheet. This is a pressing the wet sheet, then drying the wet sheet. So these three sections are nothing but a formation of a paper section. So in the formation of a paper section, there are three stages. One is a formation of a wet web, then pressing of wet web, then drying of wet web. So in the formation of wet web, the slurry will be just taken from this tank, and it will be just arranged in a matted structure using the pressure roll and suction rolls. Due to the gravity and due to the pressure and suction rolls, some part of the water will be just drained or squeezed from this mat. Then this water is called as a white water. Then after the mat structure, this mat will be just sent to the felting roll section. Before sending to the felting roll section, the watermark will be added. Like if you want to add a company logo or company statement or some bond paper mark, something. So the roll will just add some dye. So that dye will be responsible to incorporate that stamp or that mark onto the paper, because the very high amount of water content are still there here. After formation of this web only, this watermark will be added. It will be strongly adhere to that matted structure. Then until here, So before going to the felting rolls or the pressing of the wet web, and after the formation of wet web, the water content in this sheet will be around 80 to 82 percentage. Then after passing through this watermark, then it will be sent towards this felting rolls. So felting rolls, in the felting rolls, due to the pressure, some of the rolls will apply a pressure after passing like this. So it will pass like this through the rolls, and it once again it will pass like this, and it will just release it from the felting roll section. During this passage, some of the pressure will be applied and large amount of water will be drained. So the water content until here the sheet, after pressing that wet sheet, until here this sheet is called as a wet sheet. After pressing this wet sheet, so until here the water content will be 60 to 65 percentage. So before going to the drying section or a heated steam heated drying roll section, so the this wet sheet will contain 60 to 65 percentage water. Then to remove the remaining amount of water, the sheet will be passed through the drying rolls or the heated rolls. So the heat will be supplied to this roll by using steam. So using this steam, the heat will be supplied. Then the sheet will be just passed like this. So in order to give you some smooth blanket like finish to that paper, so some drying blanket will be arranged. So drying blanket is nothing but a fiber cloth like structure which is just floating around these rolls, top rolls. Then it will add a smooth finish to this wet paper. Then finally when the heat is applied here, so large part of water will be just evaporated, just vaporize that water, and after that the sheet will be just passing like this, and the water content after passing through this heated rolls will be around 5 to 6 percentage water content. So 5 to 6 percentage water content. Then it will be sent to a final calendria roll. So calendria rolls are nothing but more than 2 rolls. Okay, any n number of rolls can be contained in order to get a smooth finish. Okay, very accurate thickness of that paper. So we will pass that sheet after drying through the calendria roll. Calendria need not be more than 2 rolls will be contained. Need not be a 2 rolls. Need not to be 10 rolls or 20 rolls. Okay, many rolls can also be present here depending on the requirement. Then a uniform thickness will be obtained for the paper, and it will be passed like this. After passing this to these rolls, it will be sent to the winding section. So it will be, the paper will be rolled or winded into the circular large rolls, bundles. Then this bundle will be sent to the paper finishing section. So finishing department will handle the sizing of that paper depending on the A4 size, A5 size, A6 size, or whether a newspaper printing or a cardboard printing section, cardboard papers this required, it will be handled by the finishing section. The cutting operation will be looked by this finished paper section. So the final paper will contain 5 to 6 percentage moisture content inside it. So this was the process, entire process. The first one in the manufacture of paper, once again I'm just revising. So in the manufacture of paper, there are only 2 steps. One is the preparation of a fiber suspension, preparation of this fiber suspension. Then this entire is the formation of a paper. So in the formation of paper, there are 3 sections. One is the formation of wet web, then pressing of that web to remove the water content, then drying of the wet sheet to remove the remaining water content, to vaporize the water content, and finally to get a uniform thickness, the sheet will be passed, the dried sheet will be passed through a calendria roll, and finally it will be wound to a circular roll. Then this roll will be sent to the finishing department where they can handle the depending on the end user requirement, whether it may be a newspaper, whether it may be A4 size paper, A5 size paper, or something the cardboard type paper, or a storage bag paper, depending on the final requirement. This paper will be converted to a various paper products. So that will be called as a paper product. So final moisture content in the paper will be around 5 to 6 percentage. So this is overall paper preparation. I hope you understood this one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then the same thing for the convenience, I have just arranged in a different slides what is going on in different sections. So first section is only 2 sections are there. Then preparation of first fiber suspension is the first section. Around 90% water will be there using the beaters. So beaters will be there. To beaters, some knife will be connected. That beaters will be just rotating circumferentially. That rotation will just form a slurry of water, slurry of that pulp in water. So pulp will looks like this one. So very dilute amount of this pulp will be just taken to form the wet web. So this entire section is called as a beating section or a refining section. If required in this refining section, some fillers, some inorganic or non-fibrous raw materials as we discussed earlier, so that will be added. So why do we add a fillers? To increase the brightness, bulkness, flexibility, opacity, softness and weight of the finished paper. We add some organic or inorganic fillers into it like clay, rosin, etc. We will add. Then sizing materials, like they are added to reduce water or other liquid penetration into the certain paper products like acid resistant paper. So the acid attack will be very low. So because of that, certain organic chemicals will be added, right? Like oil, this grease paper, which we are using for the weighing of this powdered materials. So that greasy paper will be used. So the greasy paper will look like a glossy finish. So some clays, some additional clays will be added. So the some sizing materials will be added to increase the water resistant or some penetration, wet resistant, to increase the wet resistant of the paper product. Then if required, a coloring agents like some coloring components, some dye stuffs or some natural colors, some pigments will be added if required, depending on the final use requirement. So during this beating process or refining process only, this all the agents, whatever the required in the final finished product will be added here. Then after preparation of this dilute amount of pulp, it will be passed through the three sections. Formation of paper section. In the formation of paper section, there are three sections. So first one is a formation of wet web, then pressing of this wet web, and then drying of the sheet. So all these three steps can be carried out in a single operation called as a Foundrier machine or a Foundrier process it is called. So Foundrier is one scientist who just developed this machine, so that it can handle a formation of paper section. So all the three processes, formation of wet web and pressing the wet sheet and drying the sheet, can be handled by a single equipment which is called as a Foundrier machine, or this process, entire process is called as a Foundrier process. Then the next is this one only, the same one in the 3D view I have just given here. If you see the beating section, all the pulp is receiving and it is a formation of a wet web, and after formation of wet web, the pressing of wet web will takes place using certain pressure rolls. Then after that it will be passed through the drying section, and finally it will be passed through a calandria section. All the four sections I have shown here, the operations which are being carried out only in the Foundrier machine, and all the process is called as a Foundrier process. Then the first one among the formation of paper is the formation of wet web. So according to your textbook flow sheet, this one, so pressure rolls will be there. Due to the gravity, some part of the water will be just drained out. Due to the pressure roll or due to the suction roll, some part of the water will be just drained out, and this water will be recycled back to the beating section, which is called as a white water. Then in the 3D view, the formation of this wet web, that web will be looking like this. So this arrangement will take place so that a sheet, the fiber content will be accurately rearranged themselves in a slurry. Then a wet sheet is formed by 99.9% water. Greater than 90% water will be there with very dilute amount of fiber content or a pulp content. Then is some part of water will be drained by gravity and part will be removed by the pressure rolls, and remaining water will be removed by suction rolls. Suction roll will be there. Above this one, pressure rolls will be there, and due to the gravity, some part of the water will be drained back. So the water content up to here is 80 to 82%. So finally, the water is called as a white water. Then next one is pressing the wet web. Then afterwards, the felt rolls will be there. These are called felt rolls. Then the sheet will be passed through a felt rolls, and using some pressure, these felt rolls are nothing but applying certain pressure on that sheet. Then applying that pressure on that sheet, the water content will be reduced to less than 60% or 60 to 65%. Then finally draining this water content, and the remaining water content will be just removed by using a drying rolls or a heated rolls or a steam heated rolls. The heat supplied to this roll is through steam. Then the water, the remaining water, 60 to 65% water will be just evaporated using this drying rolls. And to get a smooth finish and a uniform thickness, this blanket, a drying blanket, will be arranged on top of this steam heated rolls. Then finally, to get a uniform thickness of that paper, so that it could not be irregular paper, so uniform thickness of the paper, then that will be passed through the calandria rolls. Through this calandria rolls, the calandria rolls is nothing but a series of rolls, more than two rolls will be there. So through which the sheet will be passed to get the uniform thickness. Then the thickness of this sheet will be uniform. So the calandria roll is to obtain a smooth finish and to obtain a uniform thickness of that one. The rolls are arranged in a series so that the paper will have a uniform thickness. Then what are the major engineering problems? So in the machine design, if you see right from the pressing of the wet bed, then drying of the sheet and drying of the blanket. So in every place in the flow drainer machine, right starting from here to here, the paper is just enlarging. Okay, the first here the pulp will be rearranging, then after pressing with the rolls, the paper will be just stretching. Okay, that size of the paper, okay, length of the paper is just stretching. So if you can increase the stretching of the paper, the irregular or a paper will be cutted down. So in order to have a force balance between the rolls, each section of the rolls, and we could allow only 2 to 3% of the stretching of that fiber, we need to have a proper force balance. The speed of the machine, speed of each rolls needs to be adjusted in such a way that in each section only 2 to 3% of the sheet will be stretched down. Okay, more than that percentage of sheet, when that is stretched, then there is a probability that sheet will be just instead of that large sheet as a large rolled sheet, it will be just cut it down. So small parts of the sheets will be obtained. So the paper mill, the flow drainer machine, so that force of each roll could be adjusted in such a way that only it could allow 2 to 3% of the stretch of the paper. If more than that is allowed, the paper will be forming as a small sheets. That is not an operation of a flow drainer machine. That cutting of that paper, depending on the end use requirement, is the operation of the finishing department. Depending on the end use, they have to handle that cutting of the paper. But the flow drainer machine has to produce a uniform thickness paper with a large large sheet rolled into the wound into the roller. Then there are various coatings will be there. What are the coatings of the paper? So coatings are nothing but to improve the opacity, lightness, surface smoothness, lustre, or the glossy finish. Lustre is nothing but a glossy finish, or we can arrange some thin layer of oxidizing layer, antioxidant layer, so that that paper will remain will cannot be a acid resistant, that remain as a acid resistant paper or a environmental resistant paper. Some gases will be there. It could be oxygen will be there. That paper will be oxidized to remain that paper antioxidant. Some antioxidants will be just coated on that paper. So that is called as a paper coating. So paper coating means that a layer is applied to a paper either directly into the paper making machine or separately. Okay, we can apply that paper coating in terms while during the beating section or the refining section, or otherwise after obtaining the paper also we can smoothly apply one simple coating so that it will be remain environmental friendly or a remains need not to be attacked by the acid or the some environmental gases. Then variety of coated paper range from pigmented to cast coated. So many varieties of the papers will be available, like this acid resistant paper I already said, then a grease paper. So all these papers are available. Depending on the requirement, the coats are applied. The coat consists of a mix of pigments, extenders such as china clay, chalk, binders such as stars or latex. This type of chemicals will be just applied. This is also called as extenders. Okay, extenders are also called as a paper coating. So 2 marks, these are asking what are paper coatings them. So in addition, various chemicals are added to give the paper the desired characteristics. Whatever the desired characteristic, if you want a wet strength, high wet strength for the paper, we can add certain chemicals so that it wet strength will be increased. If you want a greasy look, that paper will be added some external chemicals. If you want a acid resistant paper, we can add certain chemicals. If you want a smooth white paper or some laminated paper type things we want. some certain chemicals will be added there. Then chemical additives, okay, all these extenders, coatings, fillers, sizing, everything will be coming under the additives. So additives or chemicals additives are nothing but the fillers, sizing materials, this dye stuffs, everything will be the additives coming in the additive strengths. So why do we add these additives? To improve the fiber to fiber bonding. The fiber to fiber bonding needs to be arranged in a proper manner so that the gap will be very less. If the gap is very high in the fiber to fiber matted structure, so we can't write with our pen. So because of that, some external chemicals will be added that are called as a chemical additives. To improve the fiber to fiber bonding, we will add certain chemicals. Then to retain fiber and fineness, giving better yield from the same raw material. So when we are employing some low quality raw materials, some additives will be added so that a better quality paper will be obtained, better yield of that paper will be obtained. Even we use a low quality raw materials like some softwood materials. Okay, the better quality, better yield could be obtained when we add certain chemical additives. Then better glaze and stiffness. The stiffness of the paper will be improved, or a smooth finishing look will be improved by adding certain chemical additives. Then increase in breaking length, double fold and tear strength. So all the strengths will be increased. Breaking length will be increased and double fold. When we fold our paper, why can't it will be just broken down? Because there certain additives will be added, certain clay materials will be added to increase its strength. So fold strength, so increase its tear strength. Okay, many papers will be there. We can't just tear them paper with a normal force, we have to cut them. So how to prepare that type of paper? Some chemical additives will be added in order to prepare that papers. Then factor and other strength properties with respect to writing, printing, paper industry. So if you want a good printing paper or a good quality printing paper, we can add something strength giving chemical additives so that it will be, its printing quality will be increased, or a writing quality will be increased. That improves, additives will increase the formation of paper and fiber distribution. So additives will increase that matted structure formation and fiber to fiber distribution, or a gap between this fiber to fiber distribution will be very low by adding the chemical additives. This is the role which is played by various chemical additives. Chemical additives can be sizing materials, filler materials, dye stuffs, everything will be comes under the additives. Then what are the types of additives? If we classify that all the functions which are played by additives are this one, then the types of additives are to increase the wet strength. So wet strength additives are added. So this wet strength additives will ensure the paper retains its strength when wet. When we just add some water to it, so instead of just tearing back that paper, so if the paper remains wet resistant, then they would have added this wet strength additives. So these are very much useful for the manufacturing of tissue papers. So chemicals used are urea, formaldehyde, polyamines are used to add the wet strength additive, wet strength to the particular paper. Then dry strength additives, to increase the dry strength additives. So the paper will be added with the dry strength additives. So at its normal condition, including compression strength, bursting strength, tensile breaking strength, every strength will be increased by adding this dry strength additive. So the chemicals which to increase this dry strength is nothing but cationic starch and polyacrylic amide derivatives acts as a binders of fibers. So this type of chemicals will be added to increase the dry strength of that particular paper. Then colorant like dye, pigments, water soluble pigments, everything will be added to give a color, specific color to the end use commercial paper product. Then optical brightening agent or artificial whitening agent. Okay, to prepare a white paper, we have used the, in the pulp preparation itself, we are using the bleaching process using the hydrogen peroxide, chlorine dioxide, or ozone, oxygen, like this. So if you want still to increase the brightening, optical brightening of that paper, we can use many artificial whiteness. So that whiteness are nothing but they will cheat on UV light. So okay, they will just re-emit the blue region. So you can watch the video which is there in the YouTube, how the brightness, optical brightness will be just increased using certain agents, so that we can look the paper as a very white paper. Okay, that is nothing but a cheating of the light. Okay, so they are not at all doing any what we call this that particular agent will be there, that but this like a derivatives of diazole, like these things. So that paper will not have that much brightness, but when we are just viewing that paper in front of some light, it will be cheating on that light, so that it will be just absorbing the UV light, only re-emitting the blue light, so that we can see that paper as a very white paper. So that is called as a artificial whiteness. So the artificial whiteness are nothing but this one, derivatives of diazoles, triazoles, benzoxyazoles, imidazolines, etc. So this type of additives can be added so that it can cheat on the light, so that we can view as a very white paper. So these are called as a artificial whitener additives or optical brightening agents, we can call. So this type of additives are there. So these are asking in the old question papers. Then what are the types of paper products? So types of paper products are nothing. Paper products are nothing but what if you see this one is that one, cheating of that light. Just added to that light, the paper will just absorb that UV light, only re-emit that blue light. So this one is that, yeah. Okay, then types of paper products. How many paper products are there? So depending on the end use, we used to manufacture many types of paper products. One is a wrapping paper. So if you want a back paper or a grease-proof paper, so this wrapping type of paper can be prepared, or this outer paper. So to wrap that A4 sheets, the outer paper is called as a wrapping paper. To prepare the wrapping paper, this is one type of paper product. So grease paper, grease proof paper, everything will comes under the wrapping paper. This is one type of paper product. Then tissue paper. Tissue papers are one type of paper products. Then tissue papers are also used for cigarette manufacturing, carbon papers, toilet papers, towels, napkin paper, everything will be used for tissue papers. All these papers will comes under the category of a single product called as a tissue paper category. So this is a paper product, one type of paper product. The next one is a book paper. So inside this A4 sheets will be there. That type of papers are called a booked paper. So if you want the acid resistant, we will add some antioxidant coating outside. So coated or uncoated papers will be coming in this category, and lithograph offsets. So some lithograph offsets will use certain types of paper, so that its finish will be very good one. So lithograph offsets and textbook papers, everything will comes under the single product category called the book paper. Then next one is a writing paper. So whatever the bond papers or leading some papers we are using for rough work and etc., it will be prepared, comes under the category of writing paper. So book paper will be coming under this printing quality, a good quality, etc. Then groundwood printing paper, like newspaper printing quality, tablet paper, some tablet coverings, everything will use the paper. Then catalog, newsprints, wallpaper, everything will comes under the single product category called a groundwood printing paper. Then the next one is a paper board. So heavier, this will have a heavier look and it will be less flexible. If you want, this is a paper board using for transportation of our essentials from the household when we are shifting the houses. This will have less flexibility, we can't bend like that. Okay, we have to apply certain force to this one. Whereas this type of paper, if you see the inside A4 sheet paper, we can easily, this will be very highly flexible, we can bend, we can just fold it very easily. That folding of this is very less. Because of this, we are using for the packaging of our essentials when we are moving out of our houses. Then laminated paper stocks, everything will comes under the paper boards. So what are the characteristics? Name two characteristics of the paper boards, they are asking in the old question paper. So the characteristics of the paper boards are, it is heavier, it is less flexible, are the two characteristics which are applicable for the paper boards. These are asking in the 2 marks question. Then what are the applications for the paper? So applications for the papers are, in terms we are using the paper for representing a true value. So for the money paper, so paper money, bank note, check book, the security for the security thing will be using the paper. So for representing value, we are using a paper. This is one application of paper. For storing information like book, notebook, magazine, newspaper, journals, arts, letters, and everything, we are using a paper. That will comes under the category of storing information. Then for communication, between individuals or a group of people, like we are writing letters, will also comes under this category. For packaging, so for packaging we are seeing the cardboards, we are using carton boards, we are using, so that all boards will comes under the category of packaging. So corrugated box, paper bag, envelope, packings and wrapping paper and wallpapers, everything will comes under the single application called as the packing papers. Then for cleaning, toilet paper, handkerchief papers, paper towels and facial tissues, everything will comes under the single application category, cleaning category. For the construction, in the construction also, nowadays the construction field has been very much advanced. Instead of using a large amount of this construction material, they are using a very high strength papers like a paper mache. They are used in the construction. Origami, paper planes, quelling, paper honeycomb, used as a core material in composite materials. For the replacing not a large amount of replacement, a minute amount of composite materials will be replaced by using this paper mache, origami, paper planes in the construction field. So they are using in the paper as in the construction field also. Then for other uses like emery paper, sandpaper, for we say that for polishing the metals and everything, we use the sandpapers, blotting paper, litmus papers, for as universal indicator, indicating paper, okay, paper chromatography, we can use electrical insulation paper. So all this we can use the papers. So these are all the applications for the papers. Then what is the economics of the paper industry? So economics of the paper industry is largely dependent on the three factors. One is availability of the raw material, then availability of the chemicals, and availability of the industrial equipment. On these three categories only, the economics of the paper industry will depend. Initially in India, the paper industry has been started as a very small scale industry. So paper and pulp industry. So for the pulp preparation, we use a soda ash process initially in India. Then after that, the sulfate process and sulfite process has been replaced replaced with that soda ash process. So the advancement which we made in the Indian society in the pulp manufacturing is very much advanced. We have our own machinery preparation for the pulp preparation, but we don't have our own technology for the paper preparation. Fordrainer machine. Fordrainer machine is a German technology, I guess. So from that, we are just importing that machinery. In the machinery procurement, we are lagging behind in the paper manufacturing. But pulp preparation, we have our own equipment, we have our own technology for the pulp preparation. But we don't have our own technology for the paper preparation, since that Fordrainer machine is a very complex machine. So we don't manufacture that Fordrainer machine in India. We have to import that machinery from outside. Then the first one, if you discuss this one, shortage of fibrous raw materials. So if you see the paper mills, the many types of paper mills, many big paper mills are suffering from shortage of raw materials, shortage of this wood material because of deforestation, large amount of deforestation. So paper for the paper mill, there is a shortage of raw materials. So due to this, the paper mills are many paper mills are just shutting down their operation for a limited period of time. Like in the last 2 years, Sirpur paper mills has been shut down for nearly 6 months. So 6 months is a huge time for them to shut down. So if you can verify, many types of plants, paper and pulp manufacturing plants are there, which are getting shut down because unavailability of this fibrous raw materials. So to address this one, we have to cultivate much of the raw materials for the paper mill, like bamboo cultivation. We have to do certain other hardwood types of raw materials. We have to prepare. We have to cultivate them. We have to prepare them. We have to do harvest that big plants. So then only the shortage of this fibrous raw materials we can address this plant issues. So because of this shortage, many industries are shutting down for the limited period of time. And once again, the raw materials are available, they are starting their operation. Then the next one is the high prices and shortage of chemicals. Okay, we have many types of pulp preparation process, right from the mechanical process to the chemical process. Okay, we already know the advantage of chemical processes. Chemical process is very much advantageous compared to other types of processes, in whether it may be a sulfide process or neutral sulfide process or a sulfate process or a craft process. In every process we require chemicals. Okay, large amount of chemicals are used. So these chemicals, where do we get these chemicals? From some chemical industries, some alkali industries only we get that chemicals. So due to the limited chemical industries in and around our India, so we are facing the shortage of the chemicals, and also due to this shortage, they are selling their chemicals at a very high price. So this in terms increasing the what we call increasing the production of paper, the cost of production cost of the paper. So because of that, the crisis for this paper and industry, paper and pulp industry is high pricing, a shortage of chemicals. So to address this, more amount of alkali preparation plants we have to install this one. Then procurement of plant and equipment. As I said, we have a technology for the pulp preparation. We don't have a technology for the paper manufacturing for the from the pulp. So the four drainer machine is a very complex machine. So we don't have that technology. So we need to import that machinery from outside. When we are importing means that's add a cost to the manufacturing of paper. So the economics of the paper industry will be depending on the three factors. One is the availability of raw material, then second one is the availability of chemicals, then third one is the availability of our own technology and availability of the machinery for the manufacture of paper. If all these three issues are addressed, the economics of the paper industry need not to depend on any other time. So it will also add a much amount to our GDP growth also. So this was about the paper mill. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, anybody is having doubts? Can anybody please respond?
No, sir, understood, sir, this unit.
Okay, only this unit.
No, sir, no, at present we are discussing this unit now, sir. That's why I told
Okay,
this
okay.
unit.
Yeah. Okay, I have to give notes to this unit. Yes. Okay, I prepared the notes to this unit. So I will share this with you. Yeah. Yeah, exhaustive list of questions I have prepared from this one. Soft copy I am giving to you. Just to prepare accordingly. I think I have uploaded this to the Teams, I guess. Yeah, okay. In Unit 4, I just uploaded this one. You see, this one is the soft copy of this Unit 4. Once again, I will just send it to WhatsApp also. Yeah.
ఈ క్లాస్ జంగినట్లేదు.
పోయి పట్టుకుంటాను.
పట్టుకొని ఏం చేస్తావు? పట్టుకొని ఏం చేస్తావు రా?
అట్లా అటెండ్ అయితేనే ఉండు. ఏం అటెండ్ కావాలట?
శైలేజ దర్శనం అయితే లేదు.
ఎందుకు?
రాణేశ్వరం
అయ్యా ఎంత దూరం పోయి వేస్తా? ఆకలి.
Yeah, okay. I'm just sharing through WhatsApp also this one. Yeah, I shared it through WhatsApp also. You can just download that one. If you see, the first arrangement is a short answer question from the pulp mill, like what is pulp and paper industry, then list out bleaching agents. All these questions are from your old question papers only. Then give two uses of glycerin and define pulp and paper pulping, and what are the ideal characteristics of the fiber for pulp. All these I have taken from the these slides only. Then raw materials, list out sources of pulp, means raw materials you have to write. Then all these are the short answer questions. Only the major questions which are there in this one is 3 to 4 questions. Only 3 questions I guess it are there. So one is sulfate process. So this is the major question. So this is the major question. And in terms in major these questions, they are asking us to write about this cooking and digestion. Okay, cooking and digestion, many times they are asking. So if you have to draw that full flow sheet and just you have to pay a special emphasis on this one, cooking or digestion. Then many times they are asking to write on the bleaching. What do you meant by the bleaching section in the paper mill or a pulp mill? So bleaching, you have to write, you have to pay special emphasis this one on this bleaching process, but you have to draw the whole flow sheet. The next one is chemical recovery from that pulp mill. Whatever the black liquor is there, so chemical recovery. So I have given each and every explanation for this one. You see major engineering problems for whole pulp preparation process and chemical recovery also. Then the next major flow sheet is third one. So this paper mill. So just now I explained that paper mill entirely comes under a single question. So preparation of the paper. So this is the major question. So discuss the economics of the paper manufacturing. So 4 questions are there, long answer questions in this unit 4. So remaining all are the short answer questions. Yeah, that's it for this one. Okay, then just we will quickly see what are the topics which are there in the unit 5. So unit 5 is regarding the food industry and corrosion and its prevention. Okay, part A will be the food industry, in which it is a very short one, need not to worry. Then corrosion industry. Corrosion is not an industry, not a corrosion causing industry. We have to prevent corrosion. Corrosion will anyway happening, due to the environmental oxidation and everything. But we have to prevent the corrosion. Our special emphasis will be to understand how many types of corrosion are there, what are the factors which are responsible for that particular type of corrosion, and what are we have to take remedies to prevent the corrosion. We have to see in this one. And food industry. So food industry major operations are food storage, food processing, then food transport and food preservation, everything. The four categories we have to discuss in this food industry. The topics in the part A will be reason to study and develop food industry. Why we have to study the food industry? We all know the India is an agrarian country. We are largely dependent on the agricultural activities. So every agricultural activity, the products which are coming from this agricultural activity, we have to preserve, we have to store for the long time, we have to increase their shelf life, we have to make these products to reach the end user. So before reaching to the end user, lot of this agricultural production is already degraded, already spoiling because of these microorganisms, because of these environmental conditions and everything. So the role of this chemical engineer here is what to do is how to refrigerate properly, how to store it properly, how to prevent them from degradation, how to just store them for the maximum amount of time, maximum years, maximum days, or maximum months, how to we store. So the role of a chemical engineer is to study the proper, give a proper refrigeration to that one, proper drying condition, proper dehydration mechanism to that one. So because of this, because of the agrarian country, we have a large potential in India for the food industry. So many big players are there, like Adani, this Patanjali, everything they are coming. The large many good industries are coming in the food sector. Earlier, very small scale industries are there in the food processing, like a pickle manufacturing industries. They are very small scale, small industries were there. So because of this, very less emphasis were paid in the food industry. But now there are many big players out there. So food industry is also a good industry, which is contributing around 12 to 13 percentage of GDP growth in India. So we have to see what is the food industry, what can we do for the food industry. There are food storage. There are four operations, main operations for the food industry, which is storage, processing, food transport, preservation. So in all this, the chemical engineer has to play a major role in just ensuring that the agricultural harvest needs to be reached as a final product to the final consumer, properly to the final consumer without any degradation. This we have to ensure. Then next one is the transportation and storage. In the transportation and storage, we require a refrigeration. Okay, we require a cold storage. So what are the engineering aspects in the construction of cold storage? We have to see in this one. Then what is a pasteurization? High temperature, short time heating is nothing but a pasteurization. Why we need a pasteurization? Because to increase the shelf life of a milk. If you see the milk which is pasteurized, properly pasteurized, not normal pasteurized, properly pasteurized can be used even after 1 year also. Okay, until 1 year also we can use that milk. Without pasteurization, within 1 or 2 hours the milk will be spoiled, because certain amount of bacteria, okay, certain amount of bacillus which is there inside that milk will just spoil that milk, split that milk. So because of that, we have to do a pasteurization. It will be coming under the dairy industry, the pasteurization of milk. He is the scientist who invented the pasteurization process, which is nothing but a high temperature, short time heating process to kill the pathogenic bacteria which are present inside that milk. So we have to see more detail about the pasteurization of milk. Then what is the food irradiation? So to preserve the food from microorganisms, so that microorganisms needs to be destroyed with using the irradiation. So some radiation we will apply on that one, so that shelf life of that food will be increased. Then food additives. So in the food preservation, some additives we will add. Like we are preparing the pickles. Why we are preparing pickles? To preserve that particular fruit, particular mango or a tomato or something for a long period of time, we are preparing the pickles. This is the better example for the food preservation. So some additives will be added so that its shelf life will be increased. So what are the types of additives? What are those applications we have to see in this topic? Then reasons to study. I have still not prepared this PPT. I will prepare. Then food operation for the food industry. There are only 4 major operations in the food industry. So food to discuss. Food processing is somewhat a little bit big, because There are different types of food processing industries are there, and different types of operations. All these are the chemical engineering operation. Refining, milling, canning, concentration, freezing, drying, everything will be coming under the chemical engineering operation. We have to study in detail about this one. We have to study in detail about different types of food processing industries are there. They are categorized into 8 different categories. Then consumer food industries, all this we have to see. Cold storage, we have to see engineering aspects, what we can do in that one. Then food irradiation to preserve the food, then food additives, etc. Then the part B is for the corrosion and preservation. So how the corrosion is happening? Okay, there are two types of corrosion are there. One is a dry corrosion and wet corrosion. Okay, what are its mechanism? How they are taking place? What is the role of humidity? What is the role of water here? Okay, what is the role of environmental gases here? We have to study. Then what are the productive measures we have to take to prevent that particular metal or particular material from the corrosion? We have to study in the prevention measures like anodizing, like coating, surface coating, something we have to study. Then other forms of corrosion, any other crevice corrosion, pitting corrosion. Okay, apart from this, these are two major corrosion. Plus, but there are many types of corrosion: pitting corrosion, crevice corrosion. You might have studied this one. So we have to see in detail about this one. So this is we are going to see from the next class onwards, food industry and corrosion and its prevention. So you can find food industry in this one, Dryden book. Okay, just read this one every day regularly. This one, the page number is from 335 onwards. Food industry is there in this Dryden book. You can see. Okay, I hope you understood everything. Thank you for listening.